What is up, y'all? I hope everybody's doing well. I was still a little tired from the weekend, and I was like kind of rushing around today to make our content and catch up with it. And I never really had a chance to just like look at my schedule at work, and I just assumed that I knew when I was supposed to work, and I went to work today, and I wasn't even scheduled. So I walked in, I immediately found out that I didn't need to be there. And I got to leave. So yeah, I had a nice little relaxing afternoon. I got to take like a nice little walk in the woods and just chill and relax. I just took a nap. It was great. And I woke up and I was like, oh, I have to do the video. And if I'm feeling frisky after this, I might go ahead and do our manifestation oracle reading for the week to just get us all caught up. But right now, we are here to talk about our anchor message for the week. I have posted this on Instagram at Liz_Taylor_Magick. So you can follow me there if you don't already. And you can see our posts earlier in the day if you would like on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday before we talk about them here. But this week our schedule was a little off. So to start, so we pull archetypes every Monday from the Wild Unknown archetypes, and those give us our assignments for the week, our spiritual assignments. Sorry. I like just woke up from a nap, so I'm a little spacey. Okay, and then I followed up with a few tarot cards. We got a lot more archetypes than usual because, like, the third, like, I shuffled, the first card came out, the second card came out, and then, like, 3 came out altogether. So I thought that they all went together and they all made sense, and so I just... I can't edit the cards. I can't change what they say. So let's just talk. So the first card that came out was the Pilgrim, followed by the Queen, followed by the Vow, followed by the Thread, and finally finishing with the One from the archetypes. Then underneath the archetypes, we've got Hanged Man. We got the Temperance card. And then finally, the Queen of Pentacles. So, the Pilgrim. The Pilgrim card talks about approaching all of life as an ever unfolding journey of self-discovery. We approach every day the extraordinary and the mundane as sacred. We are careful and intentional with our time, our energy, our focus, our words, our actions. And so all of it, everything, our comings and goings, who we see at the grocery store, how, we are with our family, everything is a sacred spiritual practice. It's not just about what we do in the major moments when people are watching, or what we do when we go to our place of worship. That's not only the time that we are being pilgrims. That's not the only time we are praying. We're praying almost essentially every time we are speaking words out into the world. We have the power of life and death in our tongue and what we say. And so our words are very powerful. And the more affinity we have with the light, the more power our words have, the more influence they have. So we have to be mindful of ourselves and pay attention to how we're showing up in the world and where our consciousness is at and where our actions are. So in our continuing journey, as 2023, as the new energy is starting, is finally kicked off, we are in basically a year of initiation, of jumping timelines, and of becoming this new self, walking into this new story of our lives, right? The old past story has been completed and finished, or it is wrapping up, so that we can walk into our future unencumbered by the things that have previously held us back. Our mentality, our belief system, our virtues and vices, our self-control or lack thereof, our self-defeating tendencies or limiting beliefs or insecurities or low self-worth, or whatever those old soul wounds that held us back, that kept us down, those parts of our shadow that we maybe felt shame for and hid. We're reintegrating, we're healing those. And so we're transcending those ego shells, right? With every layer that we break away, it's like we untether ourselves from another thing that has bound us, and we break those shells of negativity that keep us weighted down, and so that we can self-empty, right? This is the process of ascension, is self-emptying. And what we are emptying ourselves of is the will of the smaller self, the will of the ego self. And we are surrendering that will to the care of the higher self, so that we can be led and guided by the divine, by Holy Spirit, by that divine order and plan and timing of our life. And so if we can find affinity with that and get into alignment with that, then we will be in alignment with our purpose. Then we will be on our path to our ultimate fulfillment, the ultimate fulfillment of our potential for joy and happiness and satisfaction in this life. So everything that we do this year counts. It's all about taking the wisdom that we have attained up until now and integrating that into our life. That is what the Temperance card means. It's about taking that spiritual wisdom and integrating it, so we can be every bit as competent in the material world as we are as spiritual beings, right? And we're learning spirituality not just so we can keep knocking around and bumbling in the physical, but so we can become better in the physical and material realm too. We balance our immanence and transcendence. Okay. And so right now, the Pilgrim card, was crowning the Hanged Man. And so the Hanged Man is a moment of a pause in activity. It's surrender. It's voluntary surrender. And it's a momentary pause, or a seeming pause in action, so that there can be a moment of quietness and stillness for reflection, and to gather the senses, and to regroup, and to change the perspective. This is a moment of grace. This is a moment to absolve the self of the will of the ego, like we were just talking about. That is the Hanged Man moment. The Hanged Man, is always here kind of serene and thinking. And so this is not a moment to fight. It's just a moment to sit with. It's a moment to meditate and to pray, and to speak out loud to the Creator what's on your heart, what's on your mind, what you want, what you don't want. Unburden your cares and your guilt, right? Because your guilt is the ultimate thing that holds you back. If you don't think you deserve, you can't receive. So the next card that followed was the Queen. And the Queen was crowning Temperance. And so during this pause in activity, where we're taking very, very seriously our spiritual practice and the way that we're showing up for our life and ourselves, doing our best to move forward into this new timeline as our best self, with our best foot forward, the best that we can. And so in this moment where there is maybe a pause, a quiet, a stillness, a time to reflect, the Queen is sitting in grace. The Queen is sovereign over the self, right? Over the reactive self. And so when the Queen is in balance, she is grace. She is patient. She is forgiving. She's merciful. But she's also that eternal, seated, not grasping, not reaching. The Queen doesn't reach and grab and force, right? The Queen sits, and the Queen rules with wisdom and mercy and generosity. The Queen guides the King, because the King represents the outward, the ego, right? The power, the ego, that masculine part of the ego. The Queen represents the expression of the ego. So you want to be sure that you're Queen in balance, because when the Queen is out of balance, she can be like cast a shadow over the kingdom, and be in a harsh state of fury and judgment, and pettiness and revenge and scheming, right? So you want to be careful in this moment to be the balanced Queen, so that we are in a state of cause consciousness, so that we are choosing with our conscious free will and not just from a reactive state. You know, recently we were talking about the difference between divine consciousness and animal consciousness and human consciousness, right? And many human beings haven't even awakened to the state of human consciousness yet, because they are living from a state of animal consciousness, in total reaction to the stimuli and the circumstances of what is happening, based on need and instinct and, basic primal wants and instincts, right? It's when we can have some kind of start developing self-control that we can move up to a human state of consciousness, where we can incorporate our logic and reason and say no to our impulses and control our impulses. But when we can even go above that and control our impulses, but also look into our deeper motivations and even transcend those, then we're using our free will, and we're starting to get into a level where we are starting to use our divine inheritance of free will. And so practice the self-control that will allow you the balance of temperance, of being able to integrate your experiences and what has taught you and what has shaped you. All the experiences, we see these memes that are like, I don't want to keep going through things that don't kill me but make me stronger. Yeah, we're all pretty tired. I'm like season 4 of Walking Dead. It's just like, just keep going. But like, those experiences can either serve to make you deeply grateful and humble that you were able to go through those struggles, because they've made you a stronger person of character, more understanding, or more wisdom or discernment. But either way, when you can appreciate what you've come through, that's when you're getting into the realm of forgiveness. Because then you can even not only forgive what happened to you in the past or what others have done to you or pulled you through, but you can start to even appreciate what you've been through because it's made you invincible. Or maybe it hasn't. Maybe you're still on the journey of figuring it all out and raking through the wreckage and trying to salvage the remains. But either way, that's the progress and the process of the soul that we all go through. And so, yeah, when we're in this state of surrender, it's not always comfortable. Not in the beginning, not until we learn to trust Creator, to trust divine timing. And then we can sit and wait patiently, because we're certain that the life that the Creator has laid in store for us, we will align with that path. And we don't have to worry about missing what's meant for us, or being left out in the cold or falling through the cracks, because it won't happen. It's just that the universe is waiting for you to unlock the key to your own cage, to activate your trust, to activate your faith, to get yourself that one step up that will build the vessel that is strong enough or big enough to receive what it is that you've been manifesting, what you've been praying for in your life. To have not only the manifestation, but the fulfillment in that as well. Then the vow, the thread, and the one came out together. And so I really feel that our messages recently, and all the astrology that's been going on, has been tying up loose ends around soul contracts that have come to completion, with the end of the big ending of 2022, like the whole year that was like a grand end of the death cycle of the final cycle of the first half of our life. We have been wrapping up old soul contracts right and left. It's been involved with every category of our life. You may have health issues that you finally come to a resolution with. You may have changed careers or jobs or had major life changes. Relationships could have changed. Maybe you've resolved things with people that have been going on for a long time. Maybe those resolutions couldn't happen and these people just couldn't go forward in your life with you anymore. Either way, in this life we have many soul contracts with people that come in and out. And sometimes these are brief, sometimes these are long. Sometimes they're with people that are just passing through and acquaintances, but they leave a big impression. Sometimes they're with pets. Sometimes they're family members. Sometimes they're friends. Like sometimes they're lovers. Sometimes they're long-term lovers. It can vary. But these soul contracts are with people and situations and jobs and experiences that left a major impression on you in your life and set you up for either intense growth or change or transformation, and you either fought it tooth and nail or you went with it and lent yourself to the transformation. either way, I think that we are getting to the point where we are either choosing to double down where we are at and move forward, or complete old cycles and start fresh and new. And so with the soul contracts and the threads, it's like right now what we're being asked to do is turn inward, because the one is here. The one is the wholeness of the light, right? We talk all the time about having affinity with the light, and our soul transformation, the whole purpose of that is to gain affinity with the light. So right now, what we're being asked to do this year, it's all about being true to the self, being true to the birth of the higher self, the rebirth of the higher self that is coming through. And so above all, you need to, yes, you need to reevaluate soul contracts in your life and manage cords, whether that be untangling or smoothing out or cord cutting. Ultimately, you are renewing the vow that you made to yourself for the liberation of your soul and spirit and for the ascension of the soul. And so whatever you have promised yourself in recent months or the last year, whatever it is deep in your heart that you wanted to do, or that you felt like you were trying to grow in that direction, right? You need to renew those vows to yourself, right? Sometimes, if you have a lot on your plate and there's a lot going on, for instance, I'm tired. I just came through a lot of busyness in the spring, and a lot of holidays and birthdays and events and things at work. And so I've gotten a little bit distracted and just a little bit fatigued. And so right now is a good time for me to just renew my vows, to really get my routines back, in place, my really good bedtimes and my, daily routines that keep me, happy and nurtured and fulfilled, which I have been doing them. I just don't feel like I've been quite as present or something during them. So I've just been a little bit tired. Writing and, working on my oracle deck and things like that. I need to renew those vows. I've been, trying to get back into my To Be Magnetic workshops. And I've just been a little bit spread thin. And so, I've been working on listening to my Kabbalah classes when I'm doing things like getting ready or gardening and stuff, which helps. So it's just recommitting to those things that have grown you and shaped you and healed you thus far. It's recommitting, making that vow to yourself, because really the only way to find fulfillment is through the one, the only one, the ultimate one, which is source, right? If you're looking for things outside of that to fulfill you, you'll never find it. It will never be fulfilling. If you can't love yourself and receive love for yourself, from yourself, through the source from within, through that connection, then it doesn't matter. A million people on earth can love you and give you validation and tell you you're awesome, but you'll never feel it. You'll never feel the love that you're seeking, and you'll always be looking for it in every vessel and in every, high and every distraction, because you'll always be chasing this fleeting moment of a hit. Whereas if you know how to turn inward and renew from the spirit, from the soul, that doesn't run out, right? That's the kind of fulfillment and high that you don't crash from, right? That you don't go lower when you come down from a stolen high, from say drugs or something. So underneath the vow, the thread, the one, we got Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is, I love that all of these characters are surrounded by animals too. We'll go back and we'll talk about the animals. But I'm really thirsty. I had some ramen. And I've been craving just some dirty ass top ramen with like a soft runny egg in it for like days now. And so I ate some a little while ago. Now I'm like so thirsty. It's the most sodium on earth. So yes, the Queen of Pentacles is very grounded, very nurturing, very stable, very secure. The Queen of Pentacles she has self-love, and she can take care of her kingdom and her surroundings. Like she has it all together and all in order, and she knows how to take care of herself. And so because of that, she has like this overflowing, comforting, supportive, nurturing aura around her. And she's surrounded by this fertility and comfort and independence. And so, and this is because she has committed to herself and made a vow and has stayed true to her vision for her life and to her goals and to her personal growth. And so she's surrounded by rabbits, which are symbols of fertility and growth and abundance. And so Temperance here has the doves coming in and out of her open hands. And so the doves are a symbol of the Holy Spirit, but also inner peace and serenity and a connection to source, a connection through the ability to receive guidance and wisdom from within. And finally, the Hanged Man is surrounded by finches, which are representative as a flurry of opportunity. Finches are like these little opportunities that come in all around you. And depending on the colors of the finches, sometimes that will change like what the nature of the opportunities that are coming in. But this is a moment in time to gather yourself to be ready for when opportunity presents, when life presents you with opportunities to be the queen and exercise, self-control and sovereignty. You can meet life calmly in a state of cause consciousness and be unwavering and be still and solid because you chose where you wanted your energy and your emotions and your thoughts, and you tuned in your dial, and you've cultivated that so that you can maintain it. That's the whole point of self-emptying, so that you can cultivate serenity and security and stability within. And it doesn't come from a false sense of security, right? It doesn't come from the kind of security that you need someone else to give you, like reassure you with. It comes from the inside. It comes from the core. And that kind of security, that kind of confidence isn't so shakeable because it isn't dependent on other people or outer circumstances. I had to learn that in production. That was one of the biggest lessons and the biggest things that shaped me about production, was that I had to learn to trust so much that God was my source and not the jobs. Because every week I had to find new jobs. And it wasn't like a job would last a whole week. Sometimes a job would only be a day or 2 or 3. So I was like, it wasn't like every week I had to find a job. Like some weeks I had to find 2 jobs. So I got to where I trusted that, if I needed to, the job would be there. Whatever I needed, God would present to me. And so it would be very easy to get very high strung and worked up and stay in a state of terror and stress all the time. But I learned how to let go and surrender and know that what I needed, what was mine, what was meant to be for me would be provided to me. But I also grew the grit and the confidence and the security and the stability and the wherewithal to be able to get out there and make it happen and meet the universe halfway. All right, you guys, I think that's all for the daily message. I hope that you guys are doing well this week. I think that, well, depends on how long it takes for me to edit this video. I might come back on for the weekly oracle, manifestation oracle forecast, but we'll see. All right, y'all, be good, but not too good. Ciao.